All right. I think we looks like we have a quorum here. We'll go through some introductions. I'll give you a quick agenda here of what we want to do. These are the Vetrepreneur Growth Sessions, live look at a veteran-owned business every single week. We're going to bring somebody on, different veteran each week, look at their business live, look at their website, ask them questions, talk about different things, and then hopefully provide some actionable tips and tools that they can use going forward, and also things that you can use live on your businesses as well. We'll answer questions the entire time. Feel free to use either just shoot me an email, I'll be up on email, or you can use the chat functionality, which is pretty good. This week, I am joined by Aaron Saari. He's the CEO of This Is Growth. Aaron, could you give a little background about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So like Ian said, I'm Aaron Saari. I used to be in the Army myself. I was an officer in the Army, and a few years ago I started a growth marketing agency called This Is Growth. And so what that means is I help businesses that already have a good product create scalable growth. What that means is you don't have to hire a new person for every new customer. You create automations, outsourcing, things like that scale with your business, so that you make more money per dollar spent as you get larger. So the focus on that for growth from my end is twofold. Most people think about growth in terms of just marketing, where you're just trying to get more customers to come to a website or come to your store or something like that. But the other side is having systems in place where you can actually handle that onslaught of customers. A lot of older businesses especially, they don't have systems in place where they can actually service all the customers that you can bring in pretty inexpensively using today's kind of digital marketing landscape. So I also help them build those scalable systems in their companies by helping them get on to new software platforms that'll make their lives easier, and updating their internal processes and org structures, things like that, so that they have a well-oiled machine before they start driving it with a bunch of new customers. So so that's a little background on This Is Growth. Basically, it's helping businesses grow through outsourcing, automation, and new age digital marketing.
Awesome. Thanks. And some quick kind of ground rules. As I said, this is a learning session for everybody. We're working on these problems in real time. I posted a poll in there of, do you know what auto ad is? So if you can respond to that. This is kind of a real look at a business of you presumably know absolutely nothing about this business. We want to be able to say, okay, what does this look like from a consumer perspective, and how do we kind of growth hack this in real time? So who are you? Who is the audience that this is targeted for? Veteran-owned businesses, veteran-led startups, and aspiring entrepreneurs. That Vetrepreneur community that we feel really passionately about just make phenomenal business owners. So, if you're not one of those folks and you're something else, that's fine too. Welcome, and we're going to have some fun hanging out. So let's get started. I'm going to post the link to the website there. You guys can go check it out live for AutoAd, and Aaron's going to jump into it and screen share here. And kind of show what he sees as a growth hacker, expert, and marketing person, and most of all, a customer. It looks like, Aaron, you can go ahead and get into it.
Cool. Okay, guys, so I'm going to do a screen share here. Hopefully that works.
Hello?
Hey, Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan, what's going on?
How are you guys?
Hey, we're about to drive right into your website here. So I'll give a quick intro on Ryan. So he's the CEO of AutoAd. I don't want to give too much more other than that, just because we're about to get into a live look at your business here. So sit tight, and we'll see what Aaron has to say.
Outstanding.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to start a screen share here. We're just going to look first at the AutoAd website, just as a website by itself. This is a really good place to start for any business, because your website these days, can you see this, by the way? I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
I
you're
can.
good.
Okay, good deal. So your website, now is like your storefront in, or your, in before the internet. So imagine, if you go to a store, you go to a clothing store, let's say, you want to go there, you want the windows to be clean, you want the name of the store to be obvious, you want the layout to be easy to use, you want to know where the cash register is, you want to know where the prices are at on the items, you want to know where the changing rooms are. It should be a really simple, well-designed layout, and that's part of marketing. Now with a website, that's where you need to think about your website as a store. You don't want to get people confused at your website. Your website has a purpose. So in most cases, it's to make a sale. When you're doing a B2B business like AutoAd is, your purpose is to get an inbound lead, so that your sales team, Ryan's sales team, can go and actually get in touch with people that are interested in the service. So we're not going to go too deep into what AutoAd is, because there's just a lot of nuances there. But the general idea here, and Ryan, you tell me if I miss anything on it. But so the general idea of AutoAd is that businesses can do a full wrap of a vehicle for their business. They pay the lease on that vehicle monthly, and the vehicle goes to a veteran. So a veteran has a free vehicle to drive for a year, and then the business has visual, physical, in the real world advertising rolling out on roadways. So it's like a moving billboard that they've got for a year. So it's great on advertising and social good. And some nuances of it. The AutoAd lets they track the vehicles, so they know how many miles are driven, which parts of town it was driven through, so you can get real metrics as a business on where your ad has been seen and the demographics of the people that have seen it. Did I miss anything on that general overview there, Ryan, before I dive into this?
You're square on. Perfect.
Cool. So going back to the website, so AutoAd is a business-to-business business, B2B. So the intent of the website is to get inbound leads. So as I'm looking at this, there's a lot of information on here that tells you, how AutoAd works, what the market that you're able to reach, how you can save money. There's a lot of really good metrics on here. One of the biggest fallbacks on this website, though, and I see this on a lot of websites, is there's not a clear, obvious call to action. So the whole purpose of the website is to get inbound leads. You want someone to contact you, right? And so all of these other pages are great. All this information on here is great. You've got the background on Ryan, the board of directors, how it works. You like all these different pieces on here. But the most important piece of the site, which is contact us or this email us, all these things, is actually the smallest part of the site. And if I scroll down, if I'm in this part of the page, let's say this was the part where I wanted to contact you, I don't have any way to do it. So a very important piece to have, like on any website, is a clear call to action, generally a button that says contact us or get in touch, something like that. That's a different color from the rest of the theme, so it always sticks out, it always draws your eye to it. And you should have that multiple times on the page, or in an ideal world, have it scroll down with you as you're going through the page or going to different pages. And it should look the same on every page, so that as people are going through your website, they're remembering what that contact us button looks like. And as they see it on every page, they're going to be more and more driven to click that button and actually go through it. And I'll go through a tool later that is free that allows you to do things like that, like keep that contact us bar going through your whole website. So,
yeah, hey, Aaron, this is Ian. That's a really good point, and I threw that in there as no CTA above the fold. Explain a little bit about above the fold, and then also the call to action of like request a demo versus like learn more information. Because I think when you're talking to B2B specifically, having that request a demo is something that is a very familiar nomenclature for B2B, especially marketers. Whereas, if it was a customer-facing site, something along the lines of like, click here to learn more or something, or to contact us. Talk about that and above the fold.
Yeah, absolutely. So above the fold is this first screen that you see right here. When you first come to a website, that is above the fold. The fold is essentially, as soon as I scroll down, like this statement, for example, is below the fold, and that's okay. So you just need to be cognizant of what is above the fold, because most people will bounce, will leave your site without ever scrolling anywhere. So you need to capture their attention and get them to do the next action that you want them to do from this page. So that could be scrolling down. That could be requesting a demo, contacting you, whatever it is. But above the fold is basically where you get your first chance to draw them into your sales funnel, and that applies on mobile devices and everything. So Ryan has a mobile responsive site, which is good. So what happens, as I change the size of it, or if I have it on different devices, everything on the page reformats so that it still looks okay. There's a lot of old websites that don't do that. Google actually knocks those websites down in the search results now. So if you have a website that when you change the size of your window, like I'm doing right now, if it doesn't change with you, if everything on it doesn't change with you, you need a new website. Google is destroying you in search results, and also if I pulled this up on a cell phone, it would look bad. So like if your website looks bad, that's like having a dirty storefront. Like no one wants to buy from that, that crappy shop that has, that hasn't gotten with the times and, doesn't have their storefront looking good. So if your website's not responsive, you're losing, and you need to fix that. That's a pretty important thing. So that's on the above the fold. So that's, on the scroll down version here, that's still above the fold is right at the bottom of the tires is probably what would show up on an iPhone. So that's the above the fold. The other part, like Ian said, is request a demo, book now, things like that. Got notifications turned on with text messages. So there's a lot of different options for different businesses. So if you're selling apparel, you'd maybe have shop now. For something like auto ad, you could have learn more, and it'd bring them to the next page where it's telling them as a business owner. Why this kind of advertising is really good for a small business or for any business, right? Like bringing them, giving them those breadcrumbs and bringing them down the funnel. Or if you're a software company, you'd want to request a demo where people can get in touch and you can schedule time to walk them through how your software works. Or other ones might have get your free trial, where you're going to set up a free trial account. Those are calls to action that you can use, and they're all different. And they're all based on what you want for your business. But it should always be something that stands out a lot. I'm going to think of a site here that I'm going to go to lead pages, because I know they're going to have a really good call to action on their site. So if you go to lead pages, for example, this is a lead page builder. So this is the kind of place that you'd go to build those pages where it's leading people down a funnel. See how this start building pages button is very prominent and a different color from there's no other yellow button on this entire site. But there's this one yellow button that says start building pages. Right? So it's leading you to their pricing page here, but that's their call to action on this page. They have other calls to action, get lead pages, see a demo, but their primary call to action is start building pages, because they want you to dive into their funnel, go to the next page, and get started with a free trial, right?
Yeah. So something that Ryan could do specifically with something like that is one of the CTAs could be like see example cars, right? So like I think that visually for a marketer to see a car that's actually wrapped, that's being marketed on the road, would be like having a button that says like see an auto ad live or something like that. And then like next to it that request a demo or something, because I think that specifically for marketers, they're going to want to see an example, a white paper, all that sort of stuff. And if they could immediately go to an image and understand that, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I think that would be a strong call to action to get them a little bit further down the funnel and understanding the product.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and on that piece of what that call to action is and what that next stage is, it all depends on who the target customer is. What I always tell my clients is you get one. Especially when you're a small business. Ryan's a small business. This product, this service could be used for all kinds of businesses. It could be, a solo location restaurant. It could be a software company that anyone can use worldwide. It could be Walmart, that's national, and they could deploy one car in every city. So, but all of those people have very different advertising needs, right? So, where you lead down the funnel, especially as a small business, you have to choose who you want that customer to be, and then lead them down that funnel. Because the messaging that you use for a small mom and pop shop is going to be different than the messaging that you use for someone like Walmart, let's say, because Walmart's going to have a marketing agency. So like a bigger business, they're gonna like those marketers are gonna want those white papers. They're gonna want like all the deep metrics and things like that. They're gonna want a lot of information because their whole job is marketing. If it's just a business where they maybe don't have a marketing person in-house, they're just trying to do marketing better, they're going to want that visual like you mentioned. They're going to want to just see what it looks like. They're going to want to see a comparison between using auto ad versus a billboard versus something else. It just makes their decision making really easy, right? So the customer that you're shooting for is really important. And for your website, especially if you're a small business, you get one customer. If you try to advertise, use your one website to advertise to multiple customers, it dilutes your messaging, and then you're less likely to get any of those customers. And that's just a fact. Yeah. That's
a really, really good point for him specifically because he has such a strong mission, social mission. Because if you were to show a comparison tool on that front page where it says, in marketer's language, so cost per impression, lower than 5 cents, cost per thousand or whatever that is, and it had like Google AdWords, Facebook ads, and then auto ad, and then it said average cost per thousand on each of those, and then below it said supports a veteran by donating a vehicle to them for an entire year. No, yes, right? That is so crystal clear to put right there, and then with a call to action that says see how you can advertise your business and support veterans at the same time or something like that. Click here to learn more. I think that would be it's exactly how they consume information as marketers and how they buy things is I need to do this comparison anyways, so that makes their life easier.
Exactly. I mean, it's the same thing. It's a pretty common practice even on a lot of software sites now. You look at even lead pages right here, and you see this comparison of features, and the comparison of pricing and all those things through it. And you can use that for your business too. There's a lot of businesses that do that. They even very directly compare theirs against other pieces. So in this situation, the comparison that I'd make with something like auto ad is I'd compare to other physical real world, physical world advertising. So it'd be auto ad versus billboards versus something like print ads, and I guarantee that the auto ad would stick out with a lower CPM and higher conversion than those other two because they're older school and they're less capable of having metrics tied to them. So so those are kind of like a couple of different strategies there, but just to kind of bring it back on the website, and then we'll jump into some other pieces. So we'll talk about how to actually implement some of these things. But on the website, especially for small businesses out there, you want to gear your website towards one specific customer profile. And it can't be someone as vague as, someone who wants to buy women's clothes, someone who wants to, support veterans, someone, or a business that wants to do advertising. It needs to, the best place to start is to go really, really narrow and define the person very specifically. So in this situation for auto ad, we could even say, let's say we wanted to target businesses that there's a small chain of them. So maybe there's 5 or 6 different locations. You're like, okay, there's 5 or 6 different locations. They probably have a central office. The person who owns the company, they're probably, let's say they're between 40 and 50. They're in Houston, Texas. It's an insurance company that has 4 or 5 different physical offices. They have let's say 10 employees at the main office. They have 5 employees at each of the other offices. They're running it through, and you can really, as soon as you get in the head of who your customer is, it's a lot easier to market towards them, because then you know the kinds of words that they would use, the kinds of things that they're looking for, the problems that they have. But if you're really vague, then it's hard to identify the problems. And all we're looking for when any of us go to a website is we're looking for someone who says, here's your problem, here's a solution, use my solution, right? And so you have to be able to identify those problems really specifically to do that. So that's a quick overview on the website. So like the quick things that would make a huge difference on your website, Ryan, is I would say, have a good call to action above the fold. That's probably along the lines of learn more, and it leads down the path of those really quantifiable metrics that a business of any size would look at. It's basically the cost per CPM, which is cost per thousand. The benefits that you see out of it. The general way that the program works. And then from that page, the contact us to learn more is like the next button that brings them into the contact form, lets them schedule that viewing with you, and that just simplifies that sales funnel, and it gets them always clicking where you want them to go. And I'll jump into some tools on that here in a second.
Any questions from the audience right now? You can throw it in chat, or Ryan, if you have any kind of questions right now for Aaron as he's setting up some of the next phase. We're going to go into some tools and things that people can use, and Ryan, you can look at after this. Any questions so far, just let us know.
I'm just thinking about the different call to actions. The first thought that came to my mind is request a mock-up of your vehicle, of what it would look like for your company's vehicle, or your company's wrap to be on our vehicle.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, if you guys are giving a free mock-up, to anyone that gets in touch with you, that's a pretty cool. I would do that just to see, what it is, or like what you guys come up with, because you'd want to see your brand on a vehicle, mocked up. So that's a really good call to action. Like, get your free mock-up. If it's free, I don't know if it's free, but that's a really good call to action.
Thank you.
So actually, we had someone send in a note that is an absolutely great point. That one of the images on the front page is of kind of an older veteran, and then obviously you have the great Pat Tillman there. Are those necessarily the two images that best portray who the folks are who are driving the cars? And this is just something to think about, Ryan. Obviously, like, Pat Tillman's the man, and I think that you've worked a little bit with Pat Tillman Foundation, which is great. But and the Vietnam era veterans are probably not going to be driving cars as much, just due to age and all of that. So it might be a lesson to say, hey, maybe we should skew this as a super young demo of folks that are going to be actually driving the cars, or more importantly, folks that you have out there on the road right now.
So we actually have Vietnam era veterans as well as Iraq, Afghanistan war veterans. It depends on the customer. So for instance, we are in the process of signing a financial services company. Their target market is 45 to 65-year-olds. So we're actually matching the vehicles to Vietnam or Reagan era veterans because that's the target demographic. So it does span that spectrum.
No, that's great. That's really good feedback, and I think that maybe there's a way to get a little bit better refinement on, meet the veterans that are driving right now. I know you have the veterans tab, and you have some of those use cases, but I think definitely adding photos in there and the testimonials it is something to put on the roadmap.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, that's a really good call. So some of the other key pieces that I always tell people to have on their websites. First is a call to action above the fold. That's huge. Second is having a responsive website. So as you change the size of it, everything on it changes. Third is having testimonials, so people can say, oh, other people like me are using this, or that's the kind of person that I want to have using it. So for you, you'd want to have testimonials from a business as well as testimonials from the veteran and how that changed their life, which I know you have, I think, some of that on the veteran page. And then the fourth part is having the about us, basically our team, so people know, oh, this is who works there. This is who is part of this company. Because all of us now, in today's world, we buy stories more than we buy products or services, right? It used to be that we buy something with a brand name on it, and that's what gave us status. But now it's so easy to buy something online that what we actually want is a story that we can tell. So one of your big selling points is that story of hey, these are veterans that we're giving a free vehicle to. So if someone gets your cars, that business owner can also tell their friends, that you get some of that word of mouth marketing in there, that, oh yeah, look at this great thing that I'm doing. Well, I'm advertising. Are you doing that? You're not? Wow, look at how cool my business is. My moral thermometer is better than yours, kind of thing, which we all do internally, unconsciously. That's a whole other discussion that's a little off topic. But yeah, so I think that's a good point. Is having those testimonials from both business owners and veterans would be really great for you guys.
Yeah, we have them. Business ones on the homepage and the veterans on the veterans page.
Got it. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so even with, if they were down for it, having photos with these is really helpful because it just gives you that personal edge. But that's always, it depends on the customers if they want to have testimonials. Sometimes it's even okay to have just a filler photo, where it's like something. It's maybe not a photo of them, but it's representative of that person. That's okay. It's a marketing tactic. If someone doesn't want to have their face there,
makes sense.
You can just use stock images. Let me see. Okay. So getting into some of the ways to implement things like this. So I'm going to show you guys two tools here. One's called Hotjar, the other one's called SumoMe, and these are both free. So if you're not using them, that's a poor choice because they're free. But first, you got to know about them. Now you know about them. And this is more collective for everyone that's listening. These are free tools, so use them. Why not? So Hotjar is a really cool tool that lets you do all kinds of things. For collecting data on your website. Basically, it's going to show you it's going to help you determine how well your website is doing its job, which is getting people to convert, right? Your website you want to get people to the end of the sales process as far as they can on your website. So if you're selling, if you have an online store, that's them getting to the checkout page and purchasing and getting to the thank you purchase page. For someone like Ryan, it's getting past the contact form and saying thank you for contacting us. We'll get in touch soon. Or maybe even the next page is, when you're available and they can schedule a time to meet up with you and they schedule that. Whatever that end state is, Hotjar is going to help you figure out that whole funnel and where people are falling off in it so that you can design your funnel better. So a website is a sales funnel. You're essentially trying to lead people down a path to convert, to do whatever you're trying to get them to do as a customer, whether it's buy a product, request a demo, things like that. So Hotjar does that in a few ways. One, you can get heat maps. So I'm going to zoom in on this so you guys can actually see it here. So you can see where people are moving their mouse on the screen, where people are clicking, things like that. And it'll really show you where people might be getting confused. If they're keeping their mouse over something a lot, that might be where they're getting confused. Or if there's a part of the page that they're keeping their mouse or that they're clicking on a lot that's way low on the page, maybe you put that higher on the page so that more people are using that before they leave the site. So that's heat maps. Really cool feature that they have, and this is again all free, is recordings. So what it'll actually do is when someone comes to your website, it will record their user journey on the website. So it'll show you, just like all these lines here show, where their mouse is moving on the website, which pages they click, where they click, all of that. So you can really see as a video in real time as they were looking at it what they're doing on the site. So you can see where they stopped and maybe were looking at something with their mouse, for a long time and go, oh, maybe that copy, that writing there is confusing. Maybe I should fix that writing. Things like that. So it gives you a really good insight into what your visitors are doing on your site so that you can fix things that are not working or accentuate things that are working. Conversion funnels. With conversion funnels, this is kind of like I said, your website is a sales funnel. You can show what the user path is that you want people to do on your website. So for Ryan's site, for example, for auto ad, we'd say, okay, they come to the home page. Let's say you create that call to action that says learn more. We want them to come to the learn more page where they're going to see, pricing and comparisons and things like that. Then we want them to come to the contact us page. Let's say that's your third step. And then from the contact us page, we want them to come to the thank you page. And that's it. And what you'll be able to see if you set that up in Hotjar, again, this is free, you will be able to see where people are falling off in the different steps of that funnel. So you can decide which of those pages really needs to have more work done on it. And that's really valuable as opposed to just dreaming up whatever you imagine they might be doing or falling, like where they might be falling off, things like that. You can use data to show you exactly where people are falling off on your website and fix it. So instead of using your emotional decision making, you're using very logical decision making, which is what you should be doing as a business owner. Form analysis. This is really fun. So let's say you have a contact form. You want to get a lot of information from your customer, and it has 6 fields, like this example does, right? This is going to tell you where in that form people are falling off. So you can decide, do I really need, let's say, do I really need this message part? Because people are falling off on it. They're deciding, like, I don't know what to write in the message or the subject line or something like that. So I'll figure it out later. And as soon as they leave, the odds of them coming back are low. So if we look at Ryan's contact us form here, it's a pretty simple form. There's first name, last name, email, phone number, and message for us. You could even, so something like a message for us is an open-ended kind of form, but you could even change that to like, what type of business are you, or what's your marketing budget, something like that, where it's something really easy to choose, or like when's the best time to contact you, so that people don't have to do any free thinking. It's just choose answers, and then someone else will contact you and dive in on the phone, right? So something like a form analysis really helps you figure out where people are falling off in your form even, so you can optimize that for them to click submit, which is the whole purpose of what you're shooting for. And there's nuances with that. There's actually some businesses that do really well with a really complex form, and they use that as a way to weed out low-end customers. So there's some strategy that can go into that. For something like auto ad, I would say having more form fields could be valuable, but Ryan, you and I can talk about that some other time. Another fun one, feedback polls. So this is when you come to a website, and I'm going to show you another one of my clients here. Works is it'll have a pop-up here in the bottom right. Nope, that's our other pop-up. There we go. So it'll have this pop-up here where before I leave, and I can have this set up so that as I'm going to click to close, this will pop up and say, oh, before you leave, why did you not want to request a pickup? And you can choose one of these things, send it along, have them enter their email address if they want to get more information, stuff like that. So you can get information from those customers at various spots on the site. So you could say, hey, why did you contact us today? Why didn't you contact us today? Is this like, did this page show you everything that you want to know about the service? Things like that, so you can get that information straight from those visitors, so you can improve the site based on real data from real customers. Because again, like the only thing that matters is what the customer is giving you in terms of information. So Hotjar is going to let you collect all that information so that you create the best service for your customers instead of just creating what you think is going to be the best service for your customers. It has surveys, so you could say, hey, will you take this survey? You can have it dive in there and give them some free feedback. Another really cool one is user testing. So you can have something pop up that says, hey, we'd love to do a live walkthrough on the website with you, and we'll give you a gift card or something like that. If you're interested, put your information here. We'll schedule it, and then you can do that whole recorded walkthrough using Hotjar. So what that means is during that scheduled time, you just watch with that person who's on your site and answer their questions as they go through the site, and you'll really get that real verbal feedback from those customers on how well your site's performing. So that's how Hotjar works. It's completely free. Hotjar.com. I'll share my share code in there, but I mean it's free, so it really doesn't matter. There's higher price plans for bigger businesses if you're getting tons of page views a day, but it's free if you're getting 2,000 page views per day. So that's most small businesses are not getting more than 2,000 page views per day, and even the next plan's 10,000 for 10,000 page views a day. So definitely use Hotjar. You'll be interested in what you see, I guarantee it. The next one is SumoMe. So SumoMe is another really cool tool. They have a free and upgraded version. Sites like Airbnb use SumoMe, the Chive if you've been there, a couple other ones, the 4-Hour Workweek, which is a really good site and good book if you haven't read that. They also have heat maps, but they have all these other functions. And the one that I want to talk to you guys about today is a scroll box, as well as they have a smart bar. So the smart bar, what this does, let's see if they have a demo site here. So the smart bar, if you see the top up here, that's the smart bar, and it's just a simple overlay on your website that lets you have this bar up here that people can click on to do a next action. So here's an example down here that says, put your email here to sign up. You can even have this just be a button, and it follows all the way down. So for Ryan's site, for example, for auto ad, that could be that button that says learn more, and it just follows as they scroll down the screen, which is pretty convenient, right? The same thing for one of the other functions on here, which is a scroll box. So what that is it will scroll down the screen with you. So that'll be this. Let's show it here. So this is kind of a little example right here where it's on the bottom right side of the screen, and it'll scroll down the screen with you and pop up. And it looks great on mobile. It was all designed by one of the first employees at Facebook, the founder of Mint.com. This is his company. He knows what he's doing. He's a great marketer. This tool is also free. There's upgraded versions with extra features. It has tons of other cool stuff you can do out of it. But those are the two functions that would work for auto ad. I use SumoMe on a lot of client websites, and the conversions on it are always great. And it's just a really simple tool to add this functionality without having to get a developer involved or anything crazy. You can set it all up on your own, and both of these tools are free. So you can get some high-end tools for free that'll help you really optimize your website, within about an hour and get those set up. Super easy stuff.
And you can't break them. I mean, it's so easy to set this stuff up. If you have no clue what you're doing, the worst case scenario is it takes you 4 hours to set up, and you're not going to sit there and get frustrated. It's not like learning how to code. It's not super difficult to learn that stuff. It just takes a little bit of time and messing with it. And you're not going to crash your website. You're not going to do that sort of stuff. So that stuff it's easy to implement. And it's so self-explanatory that Hotjar and SumoMe are really, really good tools to use. If you don't necessarily know exactly what you're doing, they'll help you along.
Absolutely. And then on that same note, as we're looking at these websites, going back to some of those notes earlier about how to have a good website design, look at SumoMe above the fold. try it now and sign up are the same color. They're going to do the same thing, right? Request a demo here, but they want you to sign up and try it now. And it's like, hey, just put your site in here. So if I put in, this is growth and try it now, it's going to say, cool, put in the rest of your information, put in your password, boom, I'm signed up in 2 steps. Get started in 37 seconds. Their onboarding process is awesome. The same for Hotjar. Try it for free. Try it for free. Same colored button, different button than anywhere else on the site. The thing on the top follows you. So you, at any point in here, if you're like, oh, Fortune 500 companies use this, I want to try it for free right now. It's always there, always following you. So that's really good website design to convert customers to your call to action immediately. And their onboarding is really good too. Really
and
simple.
That's such an easy fix, Ryan, for your site on your contact us button at the top of your page, and that one doesn't follow you along, but it would be so easy to make that contact us a button that's like fluorescent green, and have whatever your other call to action in the same color.
I send it over to my web developer.
You're the man.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, and the cool thing is with that SumoMe bar, it can just be a button that redirects to your existing contact page. So super simple fix that's definitely going to increase conversions on your site. I guarantee it. There's very few things I guarantee, but in this case, I guarantee that. Okay, so we covered web design, so making sure that your storefront looks good. A couple of tools to just fix that in a really quick way if you need to. And these tools work on everything. If you have an online store or anything, if you're on Shopify, anything like that, these things install really easy. They work on everything. It's like they're made for everything. It's awesome. Next, though, so that's a way to create some of that scalable growth with just your website. Now we'll dive into a more specific for auto ad marketing strategy. So this is the more fun part that's more unique to more businesses. So auto ad's a business-to-business company. They're selling wrapped vehicles as a source of advertising. So for these guys, they're competing against billboards. They're competing potentially against things like Facebook ads and Google ads and things like that. But primarily, they're competing against physical world advertising.
Well, hey, let me step in really quick. So, and the reason why is they are competing with anything that is going to get your eyeballs, right? So that is the world of advertising. That's content marketing. That's Facebook ads. That's all those things. But specifically, as you boil that down, it's things that you can pay for that gets more eyeballs on your site to develop a top of a funnel, right? So as you keep going down that, how people are budgeted generally is they will be budgeted for outdoor and they will be budgeted for digital. Most people are not going to spend less on their Google AdWords. They might spend less on Facebook ad campaigns depending on what type of campaign they're doing, but they're not really going to scale up or down the spend on they're going to have their digital spend set, and it'll depend on what type of campaigns that they're actually running. But outdoor is that target budget that they could alter what they actually do as a strategy for outdoor. And I think that is really important as you start looking at how they can, or how AutoAd can look at this and say, if we're targeting that outdoor budget that people have set aside for non-digital advertising, that's an easy market to identify, compare, and contrast your stuff with, and execute on that vision to say, we are a better version and we have a stronger social impact. Use us.
Exactly. And that definitely, part of that comes into the messaging, and also into the who's your target customer. So as an example on that, if it's let's say it's a small business with only one office, and maybe 10 to 20 employees, the odds of them being as deliberate about their marketing spend in terms of digital versus physical and things like that are low. So that's where, for that customer, you need to convince them, hey, you need to, you even pull them down the path of, oh, you should be focused on digital marketing and physical marketing, and this is why. And digital marketing, is Google ads and Facebook ads, everything you've heard of. And physical marketing, you think it's only billboards, but you should use this. This is why you should use both. This is why they're valuable, right? So for a smaller business, you have to do some of that teaching even of why this is valuable in a quantifiable way. For larger businesses, they do have that split spend. So then you're just competing within that one spend of physical world advertising, which is a lot easier.
But hey, really quick on that too, if you for this specific type of product, if you're going to go out there and you're trying to convince a business to take their digital-only platform and allocate a portion of the spend for outdoor, that is a very long sales cycle. Not that it shouldn't be done, but I'm just saying, when you're an entrepreneur and you're a startup and you're focusing and you have limited time and resources, devoting a ton of time and energy to a very long sales cycle might have you run out of money. Not that AutoAd's in that position, but other folks might be, right? So it's like convincing someone to do something that they're not comfortable with, very hard, long sales cycle. Convincing someone that is already budgeted for, that they just need to reallocate funds, much shorter sales cycle.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so on that's actually a good lead-in to the strategy that I would recommend for someone like AutoAd. So Ryan and I have talked before, and he's trying to do a more national expansion. He's validated his business model. He has paying customers. He's doing a great thing, and he wants to start expanding in a more national way. And so naturally, when we all think of, so with AutoAd, you could think of it and say, hey, this works in any city. So why don't I get customers in any city? Just see, who wants to get one of these in any city. That can work, but it also, going back to the who is your customer piece, it dilutes your messaging if you're trying to advertise your product to someone in Seattle versus someone in Kansas City versus someone in Houston, Texas. Those businesses are all very different. So my recommendation, for a business like AutoAd that is, this physical product and based around driving, is I would choose one of the 10 largest cities in the country and focus on some of them that have a lot of driving. So urban sprawl, where there's just giant suburban areas, everyone's driving at least an hour each way for work. That means that your vehicles are going to be on the road a ton. So cities that come to mind, are Houston, Los Angeles, Miami. Those are urban sprawl cities where this product would be really, really great. Other big cities, that come to mind, places like New York City. That's a pretty big city too, but a lot of people take public transportation there. So the odds of people seeing your ads might be lower, especially if those cars are stuck in traffic and not getting in front of as many eyeballs. So it all comes down to weighing the pros and cons. Obviously, a place like New York City, you're gonna get good advertising there. But as far as starting your national expansion, starting your playbook, I'd recommend a city like Houston, LA, or Chicago, or Miami, and probably Houston. Houston's in the top 5 largest cities in the country. I think it's number 2 or 3. They have giant urban sprawl. People are driving a lot. It's warm all the time, so you're very rarely going to have your drivers off the road because of weather, unless there's flooding like there's been recently. So that's a really good place to start. So I would say, okay, I'm going to focus on Houston, and I'm only going to focus on Houston for my digital marketing campaign, because you're going to so the point of your digital marketing campaign is to get inbound leads. You want people to come to your website, decide to get in touch with you so that your sales team can interact with them, person to person, and make that sale. So focus on Houston. How do we get the people in Houston to come into your funnel? So first, choose your target audience. I would say there's tons of different business types there. You could go with single solo restaurants, for example. You could go with small local restaurant chains. It could be some local barbecue joint. It could be some local stores, things like that. In that metropolitan area, it's probably gonna all of those are gonna probably fall in the same group. Here's how I'd split out your marketing though. I would end up using Google Ads, and the reason I would use Google Ads is Google Ads focus on search. So someone's actively looking for a product when they come to you. So actually saved this a little bit earlier. So if we're looking at, man, no, I don't have that saved. Never mind. So for Google Ads, what you can do is you can target your ads towards people that are looking for vehicle wraps, vehicle advertising, billboards in Houston, things like that, and you target it down to specifically just Houston. The reason is that in those ads, you can say, with better copywriting, are you looking for outdoor advertising in Houston? And the person that's doing that search, when they see your ad, will say, yes, I am. You just identified their problem and gave them a solution. They're going to click on your ad. And now they're into your website, into your sales funnel that you control, right? If you were just doing something in more general, like across the country, you wouldn't be able to do that in Houston part, which makes it very personal. You'd be doing more, are you looking for a vehicle wrap? Are you looking for outdoor advertising? And that's a little vague. People want the personalized experience. So if you're able to say in Houston, that's great. There's tons of keywords you could use. You could use, marketing in Houston, outdoor advertising in Houston, billboards in Houston, things like that. It's going to be a really small search volume, but super targeted customer. So the odds of them converting after they come to your site are very high. The odds of them clicking on your ad are very high. So I'd use Google Ads to get people to your site. Another great reason to focus on a single city to start is that as you start getting your vehicles on the road, other business owners that know your business owner that's using your vehicles are going to say, hey, is that working for you? Do you like that product? Should I use it? And now your customer, because they want to justify what they're spending, they're probably going to say, yeah, you should totally use it. I like it. I love seeing my brand driving around town. You should totally use it. Let me get you in touch with them. So it gives you word of mouth marketing, which is a lot harder to do if you're advertising, if you're doing your marketing nationwide. Because let's say you have a customer in San Francisco, one in Houston, one in Kansas. All these different customers are not probably going to talk to each other as much. There's not going to be as many of your vehicles on the road in a concentrated area. So you got to think of that concentration. Yeah.
Yeah, and think about this. Like, if you saw a car driving around with a wrap that said, whatever, Sweet Baby Ray's on it, you'd be like, huh, that's interesting. That guy wraps his car with Sweet Baby Ray's. But if you saw a car that was like Sweet Baby Ray's, and then you saw Texas Pete, and then you saw, I'm just naming condiments at the muscle, and then you saw, something else, French's mustard, you'd be like, why are all these cars having different condiments driving around in Houston? It starts to get that kind of that brand repetition for these type of things that they're seeing. Like, this is something that a ton of folks in this region are doing. And I know that, Ryan, you've had some success with that in the regions that you've already launched this in. I think it's a really good point to focus on one area and kind of tap into that, or a few areas, and really test which ones you see the best kind of traction in.
Makes sense. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, so kind of boiling that down, the first thing I would do is Google Ads in a place like Houston, targeting keywords such as, outdoor advertising, billboards in Houston, things like that. Easy, it's relatively easy to set up, and after you set that up, it can kind of be on autopilot because different people are going to search for that every month. So as long as the keywords are working, the click-through rates are good on those ads, after it's going, you just decide how much budget you want to put to it every month, and it'll scale up with you. If you want to spend $50 a month on it, it'll give you so many leads. If you want to spend $5,000 a month on it, it'll give you X many more leads after it's working, after it's set up. So that's a really good scalable way to go. Another option that's a little bit more work, but can start getting people into the funnel is using Facebook ads. So how you can use Facebook ads is you can target. So the way Facebook ads work is you target demographically. So how that compares to Google you target, people are actively looking for a product. They're searching for it, right? So that's not targeting demographically. That's targeting based on those people's activities. Targeting demographically means that you're targeting based on who someone is and what they like. So you're going to interrupt them in Facebook and other channels, but because you know so much about them, that interruption could be really click-worthy to them. And I've found a lot of success on Facebook ads. It's generally like the primary place that I send customers. It's, in my opinion, the best ad platform available now, beating out Google ads and everything else, because it has a ton of features, really good targeting. It's amazing. There's an earlier video where I dove into Facebook ads with Vetrepreneur Network that's on the YouTube channel, which I'm sure Ian will share later. So I'm going to show you what you can do in Facebook ads here, just really quick on targeting business owners in Houston. Boom. Cool. So small business owners in Houston, there's 160,000 of them from the center of Houston, which this is a pretty big metropolitan area. So if we expanded this out even to 50 miles, we got 220,000 people that are small business owners in Houston, and for $20 a day as a budget, you can get your brand in front of 5,000 to 13,000 of those people, right? So that's a really easy way to not have to just rely on, are people searching for this product this month, but instead actively put your business in front of them. So for this example, you'd want to be having, putting things in front of them that are saying something like, is your business using outdoor advertising? 10 reasons it should. Something like that, where they're going to click through and see, the reasons that they should be using outdoor advertising for their business, and then they'll want to contact you. So that's just another side option. The cost is relatively low, $20 a day to get in front of 5,000 to 13,000 small business owners in Houston is pretty good. You can do all kinds of other targeting based on titles and stuff like that, but that's just a quick example of how you can use Facebook ads as well. So that's a really quick down and dirty strategy for absolutely improving the marketing for ad. The cost of setting up something like that can be really relatively inexpensive. It can happen pretty quickly. Using even just these couple tools to get your site better at converting is great. Using a tool like Google Ads after you have it set up can just live on forever. And then you can have more creative, targeted campaigns going through something like Facebook to really scale up those inbound leads, for your sales team. So it's a quick down and dirty of marketing for auto ad based on the website's design, some tools, and then that very specific growth strategy that I would use for this very specific business. Any questions on that from any of the viewers, from Ryan especially? Ian, anything else that comes to mind?
No, I think that's fantastic. It's really good. I took notes in the chat, and we'll post all of the notes from this, including all the tools that Aaron mentioned, and we'll post all of that in a write-up after this. The video will go on YouTube. So yeah, just quiz. If there's no other questions, just so we can get out of here. It's been an hour, believe it or not. Thanks so much, everyone, for attending. I'll shoot an email out to everybody afterwards with everything that we talked about. And then if you want to check out, we got Aaron's website is thisisgrowth.com. You can learn more about him. Vetrepreneur Network is our YouTube channel. And if you go to gijobs.com/vetweek, then that is our upcoming Vetrepreneur Week. Other than that, we'll be here same time, same channel next week, 11 o'clock Pacific. With a new business. Next time we'll try to find something B2C since we nailed B2B this week. So thanks everybody. Ryan, any last thoughts? Thanks so much for coming on.
This was awesome. This was absolutely awesome. Thank you guys for dissecting the company and providing some amazing feedback. I've already taken all the notes and sent my web designers the tools that you guys were talking about, and as we speak, they're implementing it right now. So
nice.
I'll send you the link. And you
fast. Thanks, technology.
Real world changes.
You're the man. I love that. Ryan is the best. Check out AutoAd and definitely tell a friend about AutoAd. They are doing amazing work for veterans, and they just have an amazing platform. So yeah,
Appreciate that.
thanks everybody.
Cool. See you all next week.